There's a reason Capricorn never truly breaks, only bends, reshapes, and comes back stronger. What most people see as silence in Capricorn is actually calculation. What they see as coldness is ancestral protection. And what they mistake for stubbornness is the armor of a soul that has carried ancient weight across lifetimes. Capricorn, you weren't born to be ordinary. You were born with 21 divine weapons hidden deep in your soul. Weapons that don't scream, don't boast, and don't seek applause. They are forged in solitude, sharpened through betrayal, and awakened only when destiny calls. Some of these weapons you've already used without knowing. Others are still dormant, waiting for the moment your path demands more than logic or strategy. But there is one, just one, that, when unlocked, can alter your entire fate. And no, it's not what you think. The world often celebrates louder signs. But Capricorn, your power was never meant to be loud. It was meant to be unshakable. In this video, I'll reveal each of the 21 weapons the universe gave you. You'll see your strength, your shadows, and your sacred tools in a way no astrologer has ever dared to explain. This isn't a personality test. This is a soul map. And when you reach the final weapon, you might realize why life has tested you so relentlessly. Are you ready to see what's been hidden in you all along? Then let's begin. Divine Weapon 1, Unbreakable Responsibility. There is a reason why the universe entrusted Capricorn with mountains instead of meadows. While others were given wings to fly, you were given bones of iron and a spine carved from sacred granite. And with that, came your first divine weapon. Unbreakable responsibility. This isn't the kind of responsibility that comes from obligation or guilt. No. This is the kind of responsibility that was etched into your soul before you were even born. It's the voice that whispers, "I'll take care of it," even when no one is watching. It's the energy that compels you to rise at 5 a.m. to build something no one else understands yet. It's the invisible force that won't allow you to leave things half-finished because something deeper in you knows, your word is your power. But why is this considered a divine weapon? Because in a world addicted to shortcuts, Capricorn carries the long game. In a society where promises are broken before the echo fades, you become the contract heaven trusts. You see, responsibility isn't just about doing things. It's about carrying sacred weight, the kind that can crush a soul that hasn't trained for it. Capricorn has trained, through lifetimes. That's why people hand you the keys. That's why others collapse and call for you. That's why even in silence, you lead. There's a reason why you often feel older than your peers, or why people have expected too much from you since childhood. They're not wrong. On a cosmic level, your soul volunteered to hold what others couldn't. Responsibility is your silent sword. It doesn't flash, but it cuts through the noise. Storytime, the quiet strength of Michelle Obama. Michelle Obama, a classic Capricorn, once said, "You don't have to say anything to be a strong woman." Throughout her time as First Lady, she never needed to dominate the room. Her actions, discipline, and loyalty to purpose made her unforgettable. She didn't demand respect. She embodied it. That's the essence of divine weapon number 1. You don't need to scream to be taken seriously. Your responsibility speaks before you do. Life lesson. Capricorn, your sense of duty isn't a burden, it's a divine assignment. When you begin to honor your responsibility not as pressure but as power, you stop feeling exhausted and start walking in destiny. Divine Weapon 2, Sacred Ambition. Most people think ambition is about climbing the ladder, getting more, being seen, being praised. But Capricorn's ambition is older than fame and deeper than material success. It's not a desire, it's a vow. A sacred contract sealed long before you were born. Capricorn, your ambition was whispered into your soul by the stars when you agreed to come to this world carrying weight no one else could hold. It's not rooted in ego, it's rooted in legacy. You don't want to win just for yourself. You want to build something that outlives you. You see, while others are chasing applause, you are constructing foundations. While others are burning out trying to be everywhere at once, you are methodically moving forward, brick by brick, year by year, with a vision only you can see. This is why people often misunderstand you. They see your seriousness and call it coldness. They see your plans and call them control. But what they don't see is that you've been sculpting your mountain in silence while others were busy running in circles. Your sacred ambition is not impulsive. It doesn't need constant validation. It is a divine weapon precisely because it doesn't scream. It pulls you up when life knocks you down. It reminds you that you didn't come this far just to survive, you came to leave a mark. Capricorn's ambition is not about having power. It's about becoming someone who can hold power without being destroyed by it. Let's look at an example. In the early years of his career, Denzel Washington, a Capricorn, turned down several roles that could have made him instantly famous because they didn't align with his values. He wasn't interested in shortcuts. He was interested in building a legacy. Today, he's not only admired for his talent but respected for his choices. That's sacred ambition. The kind of ambition that says, I don't need the world to notice me now because one day, they'll understand what I was building. And when others give up because success didn't come fast enough, Capricorn keeps going because you were never here for fast. You were here for forever. When awakened, this weapon allows you to transform obstacles into stepping stones, rejection into redirection, and doubt into determination. Life lesson. Capricorn, your ambition is not a flaw, it's a divine signal. But it must be guided by your highest self, not your wounded self. Let it be driven by meaning, not revenge. By purpose, not proving. Because when sacred ambition is aligned with soul, nothing and no one can stop you. Divine Weapon 3, Iron Discipline. Some souls are carried by inspiration, others by emotion. But Capricorn is carried by something far more rare, discipline made of iron. This isn't the kind of discipline taught in school or enforced by rules. This is a sacred inner code. An invisible oath you made with yourself long ago, no matter how long it takes, I will endure. I will finish. I will rise. Most people want success until it asks for sacrifice. They want the dream until it demands repetition, silence, solitude, and self-control. But Capricorn was built for that very path. Not because it's easy, but because your soul was forged in the fires of delay, denial, and duty. Iron discipline is not glamorous. It looks like waking up when your body begs to sleep. It looks like keeping your word when no one is watching. It looks like showing up for your destiny not when it feels good, but when it feels impossible. And yet, you do it. Again and again. Not because of pride, but because you remember the bigger picture. Even if no one else sees it. This is what separates you from the crowd. While others wait to feel motivated, Capricorn builds while exhausted. You don't need permission. You don't chase trends. You trust process over pleasure. Your discipline becomes your divine weapon when life tests your limits. Because the moment others start slowing down, you're just getting started. Why? Because your endurance wasn't trained by comfort. It was trained by responsibility, pain, and purpose. Let me give you a moment in history. January 1st, 1995. J.K. Rowling, a Capricorn, was a single mother on welfare, rejected by multiple publishers, typing her manuscript in cafes while her baby slept. She didn't have money. She didn't have support. She only had one thing: discipline. And it was enough. Because 1 year later, Harry Potter was born and the world was never the same. That's the power of iron discipline. It's not about willpower. It's about sacred commitment to your calling, no matter how hard the path becomes. Life lesson. Capricorn, your discipline is not a prison, it's a prophecy. When you stop seeing it as what limits you and start seeing it as what liberates you from chaos, you awaken one of the most powerful tools the soul can hold. The ability to keep walking when the world begs you to stop. Divine Weapon 4, Strategic Silence. Capricorn rarely speaks first. Not because they're shy, but because silence is their strategy. Where others fill rooms with noise, Capricorn fills it with presence. Where others rush to explain, defend, or dominate, Capricorn waits, listens, and learns everything. This silence is not absence. It is calculation. It is psychic positioning. It is the art of knowing when to hold back, because you're watching more than anyone realizes. Strategic silence is one of Capricorn's most misunderstood weapons. People often assume you're detached, disinterested, or emotionless. But what they don't understand is that you're reading every word they didn't say, every glance, every inconsistency, every energy shift. And while they're busy trying to impress you, you're already 3 moves ahead. This is what gives Capricorn a mystical air of authority. You don't beg for attention. You don't interrupt. But somehow, when you finally speak, everyone listens. Because they know you don't speak unless it matters. In conflict, your silence disarms. In business, it builds power. In relationships, it creates mystery and sometimes fear. But at its highest form, strategic silence is not about manipulation. It's about mastery. It allows you to absorb what others miss. It gives you space to hear your own soul, above the noise of the world. Here's a real-life echo of this weapon. Martin Luther King Jr., a Capricorn, was known for his voice. But he was even more powerful in his pauses. In the moments when he stopped, looked at the crowd, and let silence say what words couldn't. That's where people trembled. That's when hearts shifted. Because silence, when intentional, becomes sacred. Capricorn, your silence is not a void. It is a signal to the universe, to others, and to yourself that you are never moved by urgency. You are moved by clarity. Life lesson. In a world addicted to noise, your silence is revolutionary. Don't let people shame you into over-explaining, oversharing, or overextending. Strategic silence is your divine protection and your secret path to truth. When you choose when to speak, you also choose when to reclaim your power. Divine Weapon 5, Patience of the Eternal Mountain. If the soul of Capricorn were a place, it would be a mountain, ancient, unmoving, silent, and rising steadily through storms that destroy everything else. That's why your 5th divine weapon is Patience of the Eternal Mountain. This patience isn't passive. It doesn't mean waiting forever or accepting less. It means knowing when to act and when to hold the line, because time is your ally, not your enemy. Capricorn, you don't rush. Because you understand that anything built too quickly can collapse just as fast. You've always felt that what's truly meant for you takes time to become worthy of you. While others chase instant gratification, you're chasing alignment. While others get anxious during delays, you get strategic. Because your intuition whispers what others can't hear, not yet, but soon. Your patience allows you to outlast competitors who burn out from sprinting. Build structures that endure when everyone else gives up. Choose relationships that grow deep roots, not just temporary sparks. This is more than a personality trait. It's a cosmic download. The universe gifted you this patience to survive storms without folding, to wait out betrayal without retaliation, to keep showing up long after applause stops. Let me show you this in real life. Jeff Bezos, Capricorn. For years, Amazon wasn't profitable. He was doubted, criticized. But he wasn't chasing quick wins, he was scaling for a future no one else could see. He waited. He reinvested. He endured. And when his moment came, he didn't just succeed, he redefined an industry. That is the patience of Capricorn. It is not slow, it is eternal. This is why you're often tested with delays. Why your life feels like it moves in 10-year cycles. It's not punishment, it's preparation. Patience is your weapon because it protects your energy. It shields your heart from settling. It prevents you from wasting your power on battles that aren't yours. You don't chase, you choose. You don't beg, you build. You don't explode, you evolve. And when the time comes, you don't announce your success. You become it. Life lesson. Capricorn, stop mistaking delay for denial. Your journey was never meant to be fast. It was meant to be immortal. The slower you move with intention, the louder your legacy will echo. Be the mountain. Unmoved. Unshaken. Unstoppable. Divine Weapon 6, Practical Alchemy. While many seek miracles in the sky, Capricorn finds them in the soil, in structure, in systems, in the small, often ignored details of the physical world. That's why your 6th divine weapon is something few recognize until it's too late. Practical alchemy. Most people think alchemy is about turning lead into gold. But for Capricorn, Alchemy is something deeper. It's about turning limitation into leverage, turning scarcity into strategy, turning the mess of life into something masterfully organized, useful, and enduring. You don't dream for the sake of dreaming. You dream to build. And you don't build from thin air. You build from what is available, no matter how broken, limited, or chaotic it seems. Capricorn's practical alchemy is what allows you to take an unstable job and turn it into a lifelong career. Take a toxic family pattern and end the cycle. Take a painful heartbreak and transform it into wisdom that guides others. Your power lies in your ability to take what exists, as imperfect as it may be, and upgrade it into something stable, sustainable, and sacred. Where others complain, you calculate. Where others collapse, you restructure. You don't wish the world were easier, you learn how to work with its raw material and create something real. That's what makes you dangerous and divine. Let's make this real. Dolly Parton, a Capricorn born in extreme poverty in rural Tennessee. She didn't wait for perfect conditions. She used what she had, a guitar, a powerful voice, and an unstoppable spirit. She wrote songs with raw truth. She turned rejection into resilience. She built a legacy not by being perfect, but by being practical and precise with the tools life handed her. That's practical alchemy. It's not about luxury. It's about leverage. Not about magic spells, but about divine mechanics, the inner understanding that everything, no matter how painful, can be restructured into something of value. This is why you are often placed in less than ideal situations. Because the universe knows, you are the alchemist. You don't need more. You just need clarity, time, and the will to create. Capricorn, your alchemy doesn't just change your own life, it changes systems, families, and futures. You don't just rise. You redesign reality itself. Life lesson. Stop waiting for things to be perfect before you begin. Practical alchemy means starting with the cracked, the lost, the limited, and showing the world what structure born from soul truly looks like. You don't need ideal circumstances. You just need your Capricorn mind, heart, and vision, the real ingredients of transformation. Divine Weapon 7, Resilient Backbone. The world often forgets that strength is not always visible on the surface. It's not in the muscles or the voice. It's in what holds you upright when everything else collapses. And for Capricorn, that hidden core is your resilient backbone. You weren't born with a soft story. Your path has been lined with weight, with pressure, with responsibilities you never asked for but still carried. You've been the emotional spine of your family, the unshaken center of your team, the one person everyone turns to when things fall apart. But no one asks how you keep standing. No one sees the quiet pain of being strong for too long. And yet, you never fold. That's what makes this divine weapon so powerful. Your resilience is not just endurance. It's the ability to keep walking through fire with your soul intact. The resilient backbone is what allows you to rebuild after betrayal without losing faith. Keep showing up after failure without becoming bitter. Carry others when they cannot carry themselves without collapsing. You are made of the same material as the earth's spine, mountains, rock, pressure, and time. You hold. You absorb. You rise. Most people break under pressure. Capricorn builds under pressure. And the world may call it cold, detached, or emotionless, but only because they've never had to bear what you have and still function with grace. Here's a story the world didn't expect. Greta Thunberg, a Capricorn. At just 15, she sat alone outside Parliament in protest. Ignored. Mocked. Dismissed. But her spine, spiritual, moral, emotional, was uncorrupted by fear. She didn't need applause. She didn't care about approval. She had a backbone most adults had forgotten. And today, she's shifted global consciousness. That's not noise. That's resilience. Capricorn, this weapon is often forged early in life when you were left to handle things too soon. When you became your own anchor. When no one came to save you, and so you became the mountain. It's why people don't understand your silence, your caution, your distance. They weren't there when your world burned, and you had to keep smiling anyway. But now, That backbone becomes your gift. It becomes the structure others lean on. It becomes the invisible strength that holds together entire empires. Life lesson. Capricorn, your resilience is not just survival, it's sacred architecture. Yes, it was built through pain. Yes, it hardened you. But it also freed you. Because now, nothing external can break what you've already rebuilt from within. And when others collapse at the first gust of wind, you remain. Not because you're unfeeling, but because you're unshakable. Divine Weapon 8, Loyalty as Legacy. In a world that trades loyalty for convenience, Capricorn remains one of the last souls who still treat loyalty like a sacred vow. And that's why your 8th divine weapon is loyalty as legacy. Your loyalty isn't impulsive. It's not handed out to everyone. It is earned, observed, and rooted in time, values, and unshakable commitment. You don't attach lightly. You observe. You test. You wait. But once you choose someone, whether in friendship, love, or partnership, you become a fortress of devotion. And that loyalty isn't loud. It's not made of words. It's made of actions in silence. Of standing up for people when they're not in the room. Of remembering birthdays, defending reputations, honoring shared history even when others have forgotten. But this divine weapon isn't just about relationships. It's about purpose. Because Capricorn's loyalty is also directed toward a mission, a long-term goal, a vision passed down from ancestors, a promise you made to yourself when no one believed in you. And this kind of loyalty, it's terrifying to those who don't understand it. Because it can't be manipulated, bought, or shaken. Your loyalty becomes legacy when it lasts beyond the person or project. When people years later still say, if Capricorn was with you, you had something real. Let's go back in time for a moment. Muhammad Ali, Capricorn. When his country asked him to betray his beliefs during the Vietnam War, he refused. He lost his titles, his career, his income. But not his soul. He said, I know where I stand. I know what I believe. I'm going to die standing up for the truth. That's loyalty as legacy. He was loyal not just to a cause, but to his cosmic contract. Capricorn, this weapon has made your life harder at times. You've stayed loyal to people who didn't deserve it. To jobs, to dreams, to homes, to timelines that ended before they told you. But don't regret that. Because your loyalty is never wasted. It's remembered, documented, echoed in realms you cannot see. This is why when you enter someone's life, you change the tone of their story. You bring stability, history, truth. You don't just stay, you build. You don't just commit, you carry. Life lesson. Capricorn, your loyalty is not weakness. It's ancestral armor. But not everyone deserves it. Give it with discernment. And when you give it, let it be sacred, not sacrificial. Because your loyalty was never meant to be used, it was meant to be remembered. Divine Weapon 9, Karmic Memory. Some signs forget. They move on fast. Start over easily. But Capricorn remembers not just what happened in this life, but what has echoed across many lifetimes. Your 9th divine weapon is karmic memory. This memory doesn't always feel like memory. Sometimes it arrives as a warning in your gut. A heaviness when you meet someone who feels familiar, but not in a good way. A sudden knowing that you've done this before, that this test has returned, that this pain has ancient roots. Capricorn, your karmic memory is the reason why. You're cautious with people, even when there's no evidence of harm yet. You often feel older than your age. You have emotional reactions to situations that others find insignificant. It's not paranoia. It's pattern recognition at a soul level. And while others may call it overthinking, you're actually remembering what your ancestors endured, and what your soul swore never to repeat. You were born with this memory because Capricorn is one of the signs assigned to break ancestral cycles. You carry the blueprint of what must change, not just in your family, but in your culture, your lineage, your karmic web. That's why your lessons are so heavy. Why your boundaries had to be built from scratch. Why you had to learn discernment the hard way. Because your soul doesn't just seek success. It seeks correction. Spiritual repair. Karmic cleanup. Here's a living mirror of this weapon. Michelle Obama, Capricorn. The grace with which she carries centuries of trauma, pressure, expectation, and hope is not by chance. She doesn't just represent elegance. She embodies the dignity of karmic transmutation, turning inherited pain into generational empowerment. That's what you do, too, even when no one sees it. Even when you're exhausted. Even when you wish you could just forget and be normal. But you weren't sent here to forget. You were sent here to remember what others bury and build something better from that memory. Karmic memory is your divine weapon because it gives you spiritual intelligence others lack. It allows you to end patterns before they destroy more lives, sense lies before they're spoken, heal wounds before they infect another generation. You don't just think deeply, you feel history vibrating in your bones. Life lesson. Capricorn, your karmic memory is sacred, not shameful. Don't let anyone convince you to just let go when your soul knows what must be processed, understood, and transmuted. Use your memory wisely, not to punish, but to prevent. Not to live in the past, but to rewrite the future with full awareness. Because when you remember, you reclaim. Divine Weapon 10, Inner Fortress. Capricorn is often accused of being too private, too guarded, too distant. But what most people don't understand is this. You don't build walls to keep people out. You build walls to protect what's sacred inside. And that's why your 10th divine weapon is the inner fortress. This fortress isn't made of arrogance or fear. It's made of lived experience. It was built stone by stone, each one forged from betrayal, disappointment, overexposure, and the deep ache of realizing, not everyone deserves access to your heart. Capricorn, you feel deeply. More than you show. But your strength lies in the way you protect that depth with discernment. You don't let people in just because they ask nicely. You watch. You test. You wait. Because you understand something that many don't. Not everyone can carry your energy. Your inner fortress allows you to heal in silence while the world keeps spinning. Work through heartbreak without turning bitter. Stay focused on your mission even when your emotions try to pull you off course. People mistake your calm for coldness. But calm is what you earned after years of chaos. Your silence isn't emptiness, it's your sanctuary. Think of it like this. Where others wear their wounds on their sleeve, Capricorn places them in a locked vault. Not because you're ashamed, but because you know healing happens in sacred stillness, not in public spectacle. Look at Kate Middleton, the Princess of Wales, a Capricorn. She's endured unimaginable scrutiny, pressure, and projection. Yet through it all, she remains poised, measured, and rarely reactive. Because she doesn't perform her pain. She contains it, processes it, moves through it with spiritual discipline. That's the power of the inner fortress. It's not about being emotionless. It's about being emotionally sovereign. Your fortress doesn't isolate you, it preserves your power. Because you know, once the wrong person enters your space, it can take years to rebuild what they disrupt in minutes. And that's the lesson few ever understand about you. You're not trying to impress people. You're trying to protect your soul's alignment. Life lesson. Capricorn, your boundaries are not walls, they are gates with locks only the worthy can unlock. Don't apologize for needing space, silence, or solitude. Those are the very things that preserve your clarity and keep your energy clean. The world may call you cold. Let them. Your inner fortress was never built for their comfort, it was built for your destiny. Divine Weapon 11, Calculated Risk. Capricorn is not impulsive. You don't jump. You step slowly, deliberately, and with eyes wide open. And that's exactly what makes your next divine weapon so powerful. Calculated risk. The word risk scares most people. To them, it means danger, uncertainty, loss. But to you, risk is not recklessness, it's a sacred equation. You measure. You forecast. You test. And when you finally act, it's because you know the ground under your feet won't collapse. Even if no one else sees the path, you've already walked it in your mind 1,000 times. Capricorn's calculated risk is the reason why. You don't follow trends, you set strategy. You avoid drama, but when you act, you dominate. You may take longer to start, but when you do, you rarely fail. Others may confuse your caution with fear. But what they don't realize is that you don't fear failure, you just refuse to waste your energy. This divine weapon is not just about knowing when to leap. It's about knowing what not to chase, what not to force, and what not to repeat. Because you understand. Every decision has weight. Every alliance has consequence. And every move you make becomes part of a larger architecture, one you've been quietly building for years. Here's where this shows up in real life. LeBron James, Capricorn. Every team change. Every contract. Every public move. It's not chaos. It's chess. And behind every decision lies months of planning, calculation, and long-term vision. He doesn't just play the game, he redefines it strategically. That's the Capricorn way. You may seem slow to move, but it's only because your moves are designed to last. To ripple across decades. To ensure stability not just for you, but for those you carry with you. And when the time is right, when all variables are clear, you take the shot no one expects. And more often than not, it hits. Because you never gambled. You calculated. Life lesson. Capricorn, your risk tolerance is sacred. Don't let others pressure you into urgency. Don't explain your pace to those who don't understand legacy. You were not born to be impulsive. You were born to make power moves with precision. Because when you act, you don't hope it works. You already know it will. Divine Weapon 12, Ancestral Endurance. You felt it since you were young, that deep heaviness in your soul. As if you were born already carrying something. As if your struggles didn't start with you. That's because they didn't. Capricorn's 12th divine weapon is ancestral endurance. This isn't ordinary strength. It's not something learned in school or developed through training. It's inherited. Passed down through blood, bone, and memory. You come from a long line of survivors. Women who didn't cry but cooked through heartbreak. Men who said little but built homes from nothing. Ancestors who weren't celebrated but endured, resisted, and preserved their lineage in silence. And now, all of that lives in you. You may not know their names. You may never have seen their faces. But in your darkest moments, when giving up seems easiest, something ancient in you stands up. That's ancestral endurance. It's the reason why. You don't quit, even when exhausted. You keep going, even when support disappears. You rebuild from ashes, not because you want to, but because you were made to. Capricorn, this weapon isn't loud. It doesn't make grand speeches. It just continues. Through pain. Through doubt. Through injustice. Through everything. Because deep within you is a contract made long before your birth that says, the line ends with me. The suffering stops here. The new legacy begins now. You are not here just to succeed. You are here to heal what they never had the tools to fix. Look at Michelle Obama again. A Capricorn woman carrying centuries of silenced voices and turning that weight into a global symbol of grace, dignity, and possibility. That's not just elegance. That's ancestral energy repurposed into presence. Capricorn, you've likely been the strong one for so long, you've forgotten that not everyone carries what you do. Not everyone was born into the spiritual role of lineage cleanser. But you were. And that's why the universe tests you in silence. Because it trusts you with something sacred, generational transformation. Life lesson. Your endurance is not just for your journey, it's for the journey of all those who came before you, and all those who will come after. When you heal them. When you rise, they rise. When you break the chain, they finally rest. You are the living prayer they whispered in secret. And now, you are the answer. Divine Weapon 13, Long-Term Prophecy. Capricorn doesn't live day by day. Even when life demands the present moment, your soul is always watching the horizon. That's because your 13th divine weapon is something most signs aren't equipped to carry. Long-term prophecy. You don't just plan for tomorrow. You see 10 years ahead. You feel the energy of choices before they fully unfold. You hear the quiet voice of the future long before the present becomes chaotic. This isn't intuition in the emotional sense. It's deeper, a Saturn-gifted sense of timing, consequence, and destiny alignment. Your soul was born with a built-in compass, always calibrating where things are truly headed, not just where they appear to be. That's why you withdraw from relationships others think are perfect, because you sense they won't last. Decline opportunities others beg for, because you see their instability. Work in silence for years, because you know your reward comes later, not now. Capricorn, you carry the burden of prophecy not in words, but in structure. You build what others can't even imagine yet. You plant seeds that won't bloom for decades, and you do it anyway. This divine weapon is why you often feel misunderstood, slow, or even underestimated. Because while others are sprinting toward fast results, you're moving with the gravity of legacy. And that kind of vision is lonely, but holy. Think of Martin Luther King Jr., a Capricorn. He didn't just fight for civil rights in the moment. He spoke from a future he had seen in his soul. His "I have a dream" wasn't a hope. It was a prophetic declaration of what would one day be if the structure was held long enough. That's how your mind works. You don't build for now. You build for what will last after you're gone. This is why you often feel out of sync with your generation. Why you're drawn to the old, the ancient, the proven. Because your soul remembers what endures, and you instinctively reject what is temporary. And this vision isn't just external, it applies to your evolution, too. You may change slowly, but when you do, it is permanent. You do not regress. You ascend in spirals of sacred timing. Life lesson. Capricorn, don't let the world rush you. Your prophecy unfolds in decades, not days. You were sent here to hold a higher timeline, not to follow fast ones. And while others seek applause today, you build what will still be clapping 50 years from now. Because your future isn't a guess. It's a soul contract already signed. You're not dreaming. You're remembering. Divine Weapon 14, Shadow Mastery. There is a part of Capricorn no one talks about. Not the hard-working, responsible, disciplined Capricorn, but the one who has walked through the underworld and came back, wiser, sharper, and unshaken. That part of you holds the 14th divine weapon, Shadow Mastery. Most people run from their darkness. They avoid it, suppress it, deny it. But you've learned to sit with it, to name it, to study it, and in time, to master it. Capricorn doesn't just carry light. You carry order within chaos. You are ruled by Saturn, the planet of karma, tests, and time, and that means you don't get the luxury of skipping your shadow work. You were never meant to be innocent. You were meant to be wise. Your shadow taught you when to say no without guilt, when to cut ties that drain you, when to choose silence over pointless battles, and most importantly, when to walk away with your dignity intact. Capricorn's shadow isn't weakness, it's intelligence forged through suffering. You've been through envy, rage, disappointment, control, fear, and you've learned to regulate them. Not perfectly, but deliberately. This is why you don't reveal your full self to just anyone. Have a quiet darkness that people either fear or admire. Can sit in painful truths without breaking. Because you've been there. You've looked your demons in the eye, and instead of begging them to leave, you made peace with them. Think of someone like David Bowie, Capricorn's son. He embraced his darkness, his weirdness, his rebellion, and channeled it into iconic self-expression that changed music and art forever. That's shadow mastery. Not pretending to be pure, but learning how to wield your wounds like weapons of wisdom. Capricorn, this divine weapon doesn't make you immune to pain. But it makes you aware. And in that awareness, you rise with sharper boundaries, clearer vision, and unshakable internal control. Your shadow no longer controls you because you've named it, trained it, and integrated it. Life lesson. You are not here to be perfect. You are here to be whole. And that means owning every part of yourself, especially the ones others told you to hide. Because the world doesn't need more pretend perfection. It needs those brave enough to walk through their shadows and come out carrying truth, power, and grace. You are that one. Divine Weapon 15, Silent Leadership. Some lead with charisma. Some lead with words. Capricorn leads with presence. Your 15th divine weapon is silent leadership, the kind that doesn't beg to be followed, but commands alignment without a single word. You don't need to shout to be heard. You don't need attention to feel valid. Because your authority comes from integrity, not performance. Capricorn, you lead by doing what others only talk about, showing up when others flake out, holding the line when everyone else is panicking. You are the one people call in crisis, not because you're loud, but because you're stable. They trust your energy, even if they don't always understand your silence. Your leadership style is not theatrical. It's architectural. You don't just inspire, you build frameworks that others can depend on. You make the uncomfortable decisions. You take the long view when others are blinded by emotion. You carry weight in rooms where no one else can hold their own spine. That's what silent leadership looks like. And yes, it's lonely. Yes, it's heavy. But it's also sacred. Because you were never sent here to lead the easy way. You were sent to lead by embodiment. Look at Denzel Washington, Capricorn. He doesn't scream his influence. He walks into a room and the tone shifts. He speaks with depth, not volume. And his leadership is felt not in his gestures, but in his consistency, character, and confidence. That's you. You lead. When you choose discipline over chaos. When you model loyalty in a culture of betrayal. When you say less, and still move the energy around you. Capricorn, you were never the one to seek the spotlight. But somehow, the world turns to you when it matters most. Because even in your silence, people feel held. Even when you speak few words, people listen. And when you do act, your decisions set the course for others. Life lesson. True leadership doesn't come from title, talent, or talk. It comes from alignment. Capricorn, your ability to lead without ego is what makes your leadership undeniable. Let others chase applause, you chase outcomes. Let others command attention, you command respect. Because you don't need to say, "Follow me." Your energy already speaks it for you. Divine Weapon 16, Wisdom through pain. Capricorn doesn't just experience pain. You translate it. You turn it into structure, strategy, and spiritual insight. That's why your 16th divine weapon is wisdom through pain. While others ask, "Why me?" you ask, "What can I learn from this?" And that single question, born not from comfort but from suffering, is what sets you apart. You don't let pain define you. You let it refine you. Capricorn, you've been through things that would have broken other people. You've walked through betrayals, burnout, family wounds, loss, and failure. And instead of staying bitter, you got better. You took every crack in your soul and poured concrete into it. Your wisdom is earned, not gifted. It's why people come to you for advice you never advertised. You feel older than your years. You often see the storm coming before it arrives. Because pain trained your sight. It deepened your intuition. It sharpened your boundaries. And it taught you to move with reverence, not recklessness. You carry the kind of wisdom that doesn't scream in motivational quotes. It speaks through quiet decisions, stern silences, eyes that have seen too much to ever be naive again. And that's powerful. Because when others fall apart, you remember what held you together. Not fantasy, not denial, but the discipline of choosing meaning over misery. Think of someone like Mary J. Blige, Capricorn. Her voice, built from wounds. Her strength, forged in generational trauma. And yet, she rose. She didn't let her pain define her story. She made it the foundation of her empire. That's you. Every mistake you made became a lesson. Every heartbreak you endured became a gate of discernment. Every closed door redirected you to something greater. You don't just get through pain. You alchemize it into guidance for yourself and for those who will one day walk behind you. Life lesson. Capricorn, your scars are not shameful, they're sacred. They are living proof that wisdom doesn't come from perfection. It comes from pressure and from the choice to rise with clarity, not resentment. You are not just a survivor. You are a vessel of ancient intelligence, shaped by experience and chosen for impact. And your pain, it didn't break you. It built the version of you the world actually needs. Divine Weapon 17, Unshakable Standards. There is a reason people feel both inspired and intimidated by Capricorn. It's not just your ambition. It's not just your results. It's your standards. Your 17th divine weapon is unshakable standards. The quiet, immovable expectations you set not just for others, but for yourself. Capricorn, you don't tolerate chaos. You don't entertain mediocrity. And you never compromise your core values for the sake of fitting in. That's not stubbornness. It's alignment with something higher. You hold yourself to levels of excellence others would collapse under. You demand integrity, not perfection, but presence, discipline, and follow-through. And while others call you too serious, too rigid, or too intense, you know the truth. Your standards are your sacred boundaries. They protect your peace, your time, your energy, your legacy. You don't raise your voice. You raise your expectations. And in that elevation, those who cannot meet you simply fall away. That's why people respect you even when they don't understand you. Some are drawn to your energy, but disappear when they realize you're not playing. You often feel like you're too much, but only to those who don't want to rise. Let's make this real. Look at Michelle Obama again, Capricorn. She didn't need to tell the world her standards. She embodied them. And in doing so, she redefined what it means to lead with grace and gravity. Capricorn, your standards come from something deeper than ego. They come from spiritual discernment. You can sense when energy is off, when effort is half-hearted, when loyalty is conditional. And you don't tolerate it not because you're judgmental, but because you're here to build something real. And anything real requires foundation. And foundation demands standards. But here's the challenge. Your standards often isolate you. You outgrow people faster than you'd like. You walk away from opportunities that don't align. You're misunderstood until the results prove you right. Still, you don't bend. Because you understand one truth most people fear. You don't lose when you hold your standards, you win differently. Life lesson. Capricorn, your standards are not the problem. They are the filter. They are how the universe separates what's temporary from what's true. Don't lower them to be loved. Don't soften them to be liked. The right people will rise to meet them. And when they do, you'll know they belong. Because your destiny was never meant to be built with shaky bricks. It was meant to be built with sacred stone. Divine Weapon 18, Emotional Precision. Capricorn doesn't explode. Capricorn doesn't dramatize. Capricorn doesn't manipulate. Capricorn observes. And from that silence, they strike with what few in the zodiac can wield. Emotional precision. This divine weapon doesn't look like fire. It's not loud like Leo. It's not chaotic like Gemini. It is surgical. Capricorn has the rare ability to cut through emotional noise and get to the root. They know when someone's lying. Not because of what's said, but because of what's not said. They read the energy behind the words, the hesitation before the answer, the motive behind the apology, and they file it away not for revenge, but for clarity. Because here's the truth. Capricorn doesn't react fast. They respond with wisdom. They don't weaponize emotions. They dissect them. And in that dissection, they learn what others spend a lifetime ignoring. That's why people who try to manipulate a Capricorn often end up confused. They don't get the reaction they expected. Because Capricorn isn't playing the same emotional game. Capricorn's emotional intelligence isn't loud, it's strategic. You can walk into a room and know who's real, who's threatened, who's playing a role, and who's watching you, waiting for a weakness you'll never show. You feel deeply, but you express selectively. This is why many assume Capricorns are emotionally cold. The truth. You've just mastered a language others haven't even learned yet. You know when to speak. You know when silence says more. And you know that not everyone deserves access to your emotional world. Let me give you a story. One Capricorn woman told me, "When someone tries to hurt me emotionally, I don't cry. I don't yell. I remember. I reorganize my access to them. And I protect my peace. That's not detachment. That's emotional precision. You don't waste energy proving your heart. You prove it through how you protect it. You give slowly. You feel deeply. You remember permanently. Life lesson. Your emotional world is sacred ground. Not everyone deserves a map to it. Use your emotional precision as a boundary, not a barrier. And never let someone confuse your silence with weakness. It's your shield and sometimes, your sharpest blade. Divine Weapon 19, Timeless Dignity. There's a kind of power that doesn't scream. That doesn't demand a spotlight. That doesn't beg to be understood. That power is called dignity. And Capricorn carries it like an invisible crown. Unlike other signs who chase attention, Capricorn moves in silence. Because your worth doesn't need validation. It has already been carved into your soul. Even when betrayed, you don't lower your standards. Even when disrespected, you don't seek revenge through noise. You stand up. You walk away. And you let time expose everything. This is not arrogance. This is timeless dignity. A weapon forged from decades of self-respect, self-discipline, and the wisdom of not reacting when your enemies expect you to. Capricorn's energy is like marble. Cold to those who try to chip away at it, but eternal in its strength. When others gossip, you grow. When others panic, you plan. And when others fall apart, you rise. Not because it's easy, but because you were born for this. Here's the truth. Capricorn has lost much in silence, but never dignity. Even in your darkest moments, you chose the high road. Not because it was comfortable, but because your soul wouldn't allow you to compromise your integrity. People may forget what you said. They may twist what you did. But they'll never forget how you carried yourself even when the world turned against you. Let me share a quick real story. An elder Capricorn I once interviewed told me, "I've been lied to, used, discarded, but never once did I let that change who I am. Let them speak. I walk with God, not gossip. That is dignity in motion. And you, yes, you watching. You've carried burdens that would have broken others. But you didn't broadcast them. You held them with grace. And that is your divine weapon. Because in a world obsessed with proving, Capricorn doesn't have to. You already are. Life lesson. Never explain your dignity. Live it. Protect it like a temple. And remember, silence, when rooted in self-respect, speaks louder than 1,000 justifications. Divine Weapon 20, the Sacred Shadow. There's a part of you, Capricorn, that no one sees. A side so deeply buried, even you forget it exists. But it's there quiet, watching, knowing. This is your sacred shadow. Unlike other signs who fear their dark side, Capricorn understands that true power is not in denying your darkness, but in mastering it. You see, the shadow is not evil. It is your pain, your anger, your fears, your desires. All the parts of you that were suppressed to survive. And Capricorn, you've had to suppress a lot. You were told to be strong, to not complain, to carry the family legacy, to climb, to endure, to succeed. And in doing so, you buried parts of yourself. But the shadow doesn't die. It waits. It whispers through your intuition. It shows up in your choices. It speaks in the silence between your thoughts. Most people run from this inner voice. But not you. Capricorn, your gift is that you don't just walk into the dark. You build a home there. Because here's the truth they never told you. The mountain goat is only half your story. The other half. The sea goat, the ancient creature who swims in the deepest emotional waters. That's your sacred weapon. You are not just strength. You are shadow wisdom. You carry the map of every wound you've ever endured. And instead of letting it break you, you've turned it into vision, into structure, into power. When others fall apart in crisis, you stay calm. Why? Because you've already faced your demons and named them. This is why you don't fear loneliness. Why betrayal no longer surprises you. Why chaos doesn't derail you. You've danced with your shadow. You've stared into the abyss. and chose to build a ladder instead of falling. That is rare. That is sacred. That is Capricorn. Let me tell you this clearly. If your shadow has been calling to you lately, don't be afraid. Listen. It's not your enemy. It's your unclaimed power. And when you integrate it, you become unstoppable. Life lesson. Don't fear the shadow. Honor it. Because the Capricorn who accepts both their light and their darkness becomes a guide for others. A living bridge between survival and mastery. Between pain and purpose. Between human and divine. Divine Weapon 21, the final gate. There comes a moment in every Capricorn's life when everything they've endured, everything they've built in silence, everything they've lost and carried, leads them to one invisible threshold. Most never speak of it, because it doesn't happen to everyone. Only the few, the chosen. The Capricorns who were brave enough to face the mountain and the ocean within themselves, reach this place. This is the final gate. It is not made of gold. It is not guarded by angels. It does not ask for your name or your achievements. It asks one question. Are you finally ready to become what you were born to be? The final gate is a spiritual portal. Not in the stars, but in your own soul. And this weapon, unlike the others, is not given. It is unlocked. Unlocked the moment you stop looking for permission. The moment you realize that everything you went through was not punishment, but preparation. Capricorn, your divine legacy has always been waiting. But like all ancient things, it required proof. Not to the world, to yourself. When you passed through betrayals, when you sacrificed comfort to protect your values, when you carried generations of silence without asking for applause, the gate took note. And now, as the world is falling apart in confusion, noise, and illusion, you're being called. You may feel restless, disoriented, like something is trying to wake up inside you. That's the gate, calling you home, not to the past, but to your cosmic role. You were not made for comfort. You were made for destiny. And this is your final weapon, the ability to remember who you are, after everything tried to make you forget. Once you walk through the final gate, you will notice. You stop explaining yourself. You begin moving with divine timing. You no longer need validation, you embody truth. People are drawn to you, not for your charm, but for your clarity. You speak less, but everything you say rearranges the room. This isn't ego. It's arrival. You've arrived. The final gate is not about what you do next. It's about who you've become. And once you walk through it, you don't go back. You build new roads for others to follow. Because Capricorn, you were never meant to just survive this life. You were meant to lead it. Life lesson. The final gate cannot be rushed. It cannot be faked. It opens when your inner world is stronger than any storm outside. And when that happens, you are no longer a seeker. You become a keeper of sacred truth. Welcome home. Conclusion: the sacred truth behind Capricorn's 21 divine weapons. There is a reason Capricorn walks alone. A reason why silence often surrounds their path, while others take louder roads. It's not because they are cold. It's because they are being tempered. Like sacred steel. Like divine warriors sent here not to please, but to transform. Each of the 21 divine weapons we've uncovered tonight is not a fantasy. It is the spiritual blueprint embedded in every Capricorn soul. A blueprint activated not by ease, but by endurance, truth, and sacred timing. Capricorn is not here to imitate the world. You're here to rebuild it. Quietly, unshakably, with ancient knowledge that others forgot, but you carried. And when your time comes, you won't need to shout. Your presence alone will realign what's been broken. So if you've felt misunderstood, if life has made you question your worth, if you've suffered silently while others overlooked your efforts, know this. That wasn't failure. That was initiation. A divine calibration of your soul's weaponry. So when your season arrives, you do not hesitate. You lead. Life lesson. Capricorn's journey is not about collecting praise. It's about remembering your ancient contract. The soul assignment etched into your being long before you took your first breath. You were never ordinary. And now, the world is finally ready to see why. If even one of these weapons resonated with your truth, don't keep this wisdom to yourself. Leave a comment below. The weapon I've been hiding is, and share which one awoke something inside you. You have no idea who else you'll inspire to remember who they are. Subscribe to Zodiac Secrets Revealed, because this is only the beginning. More hidden truths, ancient lessons, and soul awakenings are on their way. And Capricorn, the world needs your power now more than ever. This wasn't just a video. This was your reminder. And now that you've remembered, go lead.